Okay, so I'm taking some questions from people who have not raised dogs about getting a puppy or raising a puppy. I don't actually know what these questions are, so this is gonna be fun for me, fun for you, hopefully informative, and will help you know how to prepare for a puppy or dog. Let's get into it.
What do I need to get before my puppy comes home?
Great question. Food, water bowl, food bowl, kennel, or crate, rather. I'm a big proponent of crate training, and I like crate training off the bat. My favorite dog trainers, McCann Dogs, we will link that below, but they have some great series on first night home. They're professional. Really? They actually have 2 videos with 2 different puppies on their bringing home a puppy and their first day home and how they handle putting the crate. Kale actually will put the puppy crate on her nightstand so that she can attend to the puppy, take the puppy out, help the puppy feel like it's not alone, but keep the puppy safe. The crate is a great asset for keeping a puppy safe or a new dog. I would have some sort of safe bone to chew on or safe toy. I would not necessarily go with a plushy toy at first because you need to figure out how rough of a chewer they are and things like that. A collar and a leash that you can use as a house line. That is so that if the puppy is out of the crate and they start to get into mischief, you can manage them. You step on it if you need to, or you can pull them because they'll go up under, they'll figure out where you can't reach and they will go hide with whatever it is that they have. The leash is for taking the puppy outside to do the business. So you don't want to use the house line for taking the dog out, because what I like to do, and again, this is a tip from dog trainers, I cut the loop off the end so that when they're dragging the line around, it doesn't snag on stuff. I don't let them chew on it, but those are the things that you really need before the dog comes home.
Okay, what about messes? I know puppies make messes. What do I need for that?
The biggest thing I would say is actually prevent messes. So management tools like gates, if you want to block off certain areas like the bathroom. If you are not managing the puppy and actively supervising the puppy, like playing, training, because you can train a puppy like day 1, like you can start teaching them how to follow food and all that kind of stuff. If they're not playing with you in that moment, I like putting the puppy up so the puppy can nap, because puppies will get overtired. They sleep a lot, and this just teaches them to not make messes. And basically you want a good enzyme-based cleaner. We have one for hardwood or other laminate type surfaces for cleaning off pee off of there, or for cleaning the carpets. We have 2 different ones because you're gonna need 2 different formulas. Could you not do that? I'm not gonna pet you if you don't do that. No. Yes, good girl. And then as far as like, just keep them from chewing on stuff. Be with them 100% of the time. Don't let them chew on the baseboards. Don't leave them. Do not leave the room and leave them in another room while you go to the bathroom. If you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to shower, you need to cook dinner, pop them in their kennel. It's okay. And this is based on dog trainers' advice. Basically, you need to expect that the puppy is not going to know how to behave in your home. And so prevention is what I do about messes. And if the messes happen, because they will, those are the types of things that I like.
Great answer. What about with grooming my puppy? What do I need for that?
So that's gonna be breed specific. So research into different breeds. So Hannah is a mutt. She's part lab, she's part Rottweiler. So she just needs a nice, gentle brushing. She needs to be bathed a couple times a year unless she gets in something sticky. We do have dry shampoo just for in between, just to kind of keep her fresh. But just a light brushing for her works really well. We also use dental bones for keeping her teeth clean. I have wipes for cleaning out their ears, and I just checked that. You do want to start training your dog that it's okay to be handled, messing with their feet, giving them a treat, like yes, good, and those are training opportunities actually. I don't actively brush my dog's teeth. I know some people do. I prefer using things like the Bambones. This dog right here, we took her to the vet recently, and the vet thought she was 1 instead of 3 years old based on the cleanness of her teeth. She does a very good job of chewing. Joy, she is a Shih Tzu, so she requires a lot more grooming. Employing a groomer is an excellent option addition, she needs her face trimmed every 3 weeks. She has to have hair pulled out from her ears. She has to have the fur around her paws trimmed. Also, when I brush her, I have a brush and then I have a comb. The comb is to check for knots and mats. The brush is to brush them out. So she has to be brushed once or twice a day. She probably gets a bath every 2 weeks just because it helps keep her fresh. I have to make sure that her beard stays clean and all these things. So just really look into what does the breed need? How often do they need to be brushed? What kind of brush do they need? Because that will be very, very, very breed specific. And start early. Start day 2, start introducing grooming tools to your dog. I have a video showing how I introduce those things to my dog.
What's the most unexpected surprise that you might not expect when getting a puppy?
How sharp their teeth are. They are like needles and they hurt. One of the things I really recommend is making sure you play with them in a way that does not rile them up. You teach them early and quickly that biting is not okay.
What's the best part about getting a new puppy?
It's just such a joyful experience. They're just so cute and sweet and snuggly, especially if you get them when they're 8 weeks. They're not super energetic. They start turning into little terrors around 12 weeks, so please just watch out. There's something very sweet and precious about the puppies. They follow you around and you're their world for those first few weeks. And it's just beautiful and precious and I just love it.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that at night you recommend putting the kennel on your nightstand where the puppy's close to you. Mm-hmm. Where should that kennel be during the day?
Because I have kids, I actually move that to the floor. I'm a crate hoarder.
One, 2, 3, don't roll your eyes at me. 4, there's another one in the basement. 5, plus the 2 in the kids' rooms that the dogs already sleep in.
So I have a few crates, so I actually will employ multiple crates so that I can teach the puppy right off the bat that it's okay to be alone sometimes, completely alone, like in the other room. And then sometimes they're in the crate in the room with me. So the crate might be in the kitchen while I'm cooking, or are you slipping? I might have a crate in the living room. Joy, our Shih Tzu, she is a little bit of a food thief, and she's not entirely housebroken. She likes to pee in the carpets when we are not actively supervising her. She gets a lot of freedom. If you watch the shorts and stuff like that, she's often snuggling with me. She's often in my lap while I work. She's playing with her bone, whatever. So it's not like she's in her kennel all the time, but we do actually have a kennel in my daughter's room and a kennel for her in the living room so that she can be with us. But when we leave the house, she's actually in the crate in my daughter's room. At night, she sleeps in her crate. Hannah actually doesn't need a crate, so she is mildly crate trained. So if she has to stay at the vet for any reason or travel, we can crate her, which was an experience in of itself. So if you want to know how to introduce a crate to your dog, I got a series for that.
Okay, what should I do if my puppy won't stop whining at night?
You have to ask yourself, why are they whining? Are they whining because they're being bratty and they just want attention and they're lonely? I mean, you have to really consider they've just been ripped away from their mom, they've been ripped away from their litter mates, they're alone, they're in a new environment. So you can tap the crate and say, settle. When they settle, even if it's for a split second, the tapping on the crate, not to scare them, but just kind of abruptly just kind of get them to stop. When they settle, you say, yes, good settle and you praise it, but you do it calmly. Don't be sorry, don't apologize. And then if you think they need to go out, in the moment that they're quiet, scoop them out then and take them outside, because you do want to make sure that they're not needing to use the bathroom. Puppies are smart. They will learn very quickly if they can manipulate you into giving them attention. Like, if they'll figure out, I whine, they're gonna get me out. They need to learn to associate, I get to come out when I'm quiet, not going out when I'm whining. Honestly, usually it only lasts a couple of times. Hannah was probably our worst about the crate. This girl right here, she was used to sleeping in a bed with a person when we got her. So crate training her at night was a little bit more work, but it was worth it.
So, we briefly mentioned earlier having food for the puppy.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of food should puppies be eating?
Puppy food and size specific. So if you're getting a small puppy, larger breeds are obviously gonna need a bigger kibble. You will need to get food from the breeder. They will usually send home a bag of the food that they've been eating, and you need to mix it in unless you're gonna continue with that exact food. It can really upset their tummies switching food, so you usually want to mix it in over the next couple of days and slowly increase how much of the new food they're getting and less of their old food. This is based on vet recommendations, dog trainer recommendations. Honestly, that is the biggest thing. I prefer higher quality foods, but you do you, and you research what food is gonna work for you and your budget.
How often should I be feeding my puppy?
So that also could be breed specific and size specific. So smaller dogs need to eat more frequently because their blood sugar will drop and they could go into a hypoglycemic state, and that can trigger a seizure. It's actually kind of scary, but that's unlikely to happen if you feed them. The packaging will tell you how much food a dog should get in a day. So for my small dogs, what I like to do, I've had a Chihuahua and I've had a Shih Tzu. So I've had two small dogs personally, and then my mom has small dogs, and then my mother-in-law actually used to breed Pomeranians and other small dogs. So I'm familiar with little dogs. But what I like to do is I like to look at how much the manufacturer says to feed a dog based on their size and weight and age. And then I feed them 3 times a day based on that. And if I'm doing a lot of training with treats, I will actually try to use their kibble to train them and not just treats, so that they're not getting too many calories. Too much carbs is actually really bad for them. So I've raised 2 Great Pyrenees. They don't actually like to eat as much because their metabolism is extremely slow. That's another thing to know if you're gonna get a breed that has a slow metabolism. Anesthesia can affect them quite poorly. So you need to make sure that the vet that you work with is familiar with their needs, and if they're not, you need to bring it up to them. But because of their slower metabolism, sometimes they're just not interested in eating 2 or 3 times a day. They only want to eat once a day. I try to feed them twice a day, but Arwen, Great Pyrenees I used to have, she would not eat twice a day for me. Would not do it. I think she eats twice a day now with my mom. She's actually my dad's dog now, and my mom feeds her. You just have to take into account the breed, what kind of tendencies they have, and size.
Now, you mentioned small dogs having issues with blood sugar dropping. What do I need to be looking out for? And when it starts to happen, what should I do?
Check with vet guidances first. There are actually vet recommendations. So I like to do peanut butter and real honey, because that can pick up their blood sugar. One of the things that I look for is, are they lethargic? Do they just seem something off? They're usually non-responsive. And if they start shaking, Joy, one time, I think her blood sugar started to drop, but she didn't have a seizure, so it was not a big deal. But she likes food, so it's not hard to get her to eat something, and she's always looking for food, so that's not been a real issue. But again, check with your vet. That's a really good question for your vet, but there's lots of guidances out there, but what I have used is peanut butter and honey. Of course, with no xylitol. Always check their peanut butter to not have xylitol. Xylitol is toxic to dogs.
How often should I be taking my puppy outside?
Again, that's gonna depend on the size. When they're little, their month age is usually considered for an hour. So if they're 2 months old, they should be able to hold their bladder for 2 hours. If they're 3 months old, they should be able to hold their bladder for 3 hours. There's gonna be some differences between dogs and puppies, but that's the general guideline that I have seen and read.
What types of things should I be looking for when I'm picking a breed?
Lifestyle. Look at your lifestyle. How big is your home? How energetic and active is your family? Do you have allergies? Are you active? Are you gonna go on hikes? Do you go camping? Would a dog that is well suited for that be good? Are you gone away a lot? Are you not home? A Velcro or clingy breed is probably not right for you. A dog that's more aloof and yes, happy to see you, but doesn't need to be with you, like a Great Pyrenees might be better. But if you live in a small apartment, a Great Pyrenees is a giant breed, so that may not work for your space. Are there children? Certain breeds of dogs do not do as well with children, and just because they're a little breed or a large breed does not necessarily mean that they're going to do well with children. Shih Tzus actually do really well with children, even though they're a small breed, because their bone structure is actually thicker and sturdier. They're actually considered a very sturdy dog. Because of their sturdiness, it makes them less defensive against small children, whereas a dog with a smaller bone structure, they actually tend to be more defensive against children, I guess because they're more fragile. They instinctively feel more defensive. So Chihuahuas, Pomeranians, Pekingese, they don't tend to do as well with children, but Shih Tzus and Bichon Frise and Poodles, they tend to actually like children. They're all little breeds, so take that into consideration. Also, certain breeds are more hypoallergenic than others. Consider how much time are you going to want to put into grooming the dog. A lot of the hypoallergenic breeds are actually high maintenance as far as grooming needs. So that's something to consider. How easy is the dog to train? Some dogs are super easy to train and others are not for various reasons. Are you going to be able to put time into training the dog? Really consider your lifestyle. There is a dog for almost every lifestyle. So take that into consideration. And certain breeds have more health issues than others. So that's another thing. Can you handle the vet bills? Feeding a larger dog is more expensive than feeding a smaller dog. Vet visits cost more for larger dogs. The flea treatments, the heartworm treatments tend to be more expensive. Think about the size of the dog, how much the food's gonna cost, how much the vet visits are gonna cost, how much care goes into it. Think about your time, think about your lifestyle, think about what you want to do with the dog. There is a right dog for everyone. It's just you need to find that dog, and sometimes it takes a little bit more time to figure that out.
Should I hire a dog trainer?
Yes. I love McCann Dogs. They actually have an online training course that is, I have not taken this course. Let me just, I'm a fan. They have a YouTube channel. It has totally revolutionized the way I train my dogs, the way I think about dog training. And I have happier dogs. I have a happier relationship with my dogs. I like how positive their training is. I like how, I don't feel like a bully with my dog. I feel like I've really cultivated better friendships with my dogs. And I really, really like that. The core of their training style is the relationship with your dog and getting your dog to want to look at them. They're up in Canada. They do in-person courses, but if you're not in Canada, I mean, they do have an online program and it's personal. There's Zoom calls. You can email them 24/7. You can call them. They will answer. And they, from what I can tell, they're very responsive. And they said they actually get to know their online students better than they get to know their in-person students. So don't feel like you have to have it in person. They do videos, they can help coach you. And if you have a specific problem with your dog, they can go, okay, this is your dog's breed, this is your dog's temperament, this is your dog's personality, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you're doing right, we're gonna fix it. And they're gonna work with you. They really partner with you on that. When I get my next dog, I will be taking their puppy essentials class. They have a puppy prep guide course. It's $100, but they actually teach you about what you need to know before you get your puppy so you start off right. I might take that one too, but I really want to do their puppy skills. I would love to do their life skills courses, and they have all kinds of things. I've watched dog trainers for years, and honestly, I've never seen dog trainers so many dog trainers that work for McCann Dogs. All of their dogs look at them with such love and attention, and I've never seen that in any other dog trainer. I mean, other dog trainers, their dogs are happy working for them, but there's something different about the way that their dogs look at them. And it's just like that relationship level is just so high and it's incredible. And I just love watching it.
So you mentioned McCann dogs. Do you have any other recommendations for resources for learning more about different areas?
There's a guy, Nate something Schwim, I don't know how to say his last name. I can link that down below, Nate something. But he trains dogs, service dogs and that kind of thing. And he has a YouTube channel as well. And he trains dog trainers and he's pretty cool. I like the way his dogs focus really well, and you can tell that his dogs love him too, and his dogs are happy too, but it's just not the level of excitement that I've seen with all the McCann dog trainers. Like, I'm not putting him down. I'm not saying he doesn't have a good relationship, but it's like the happiness of all the trainers I've never seen anywhere else at McCann Dogs. As far as like health stuff, I like Dr. Becker. Is a vet, and she has a lot of good information. I don't agree with her on everything. She's very hardcore, like raw food and stuff like that. But she's a great resource and she's a good vet. So I like balancing, like, okay, she challenges my thinking and it makes me stop and evaluate. Am I taking good care of my dog? I like the book, Power of Positive Dog Training by Pat Miller. That's a great book. Let's see, other resources. I like, I think everyone should have this book, whether you have dogs or not. I go on and on and on about this book, and I will not stop. Just so you know, even if you buy this book from me, even though there's an affiliate link down below, I don't make anything off of this link, okay? I've had people buy this book and I don't make anything. It's just, I love this book. I love that it shows doggy language and it really illustrates it nicely, cleanly. It's bright and it's good for illustrating to kids. So this is a great resource. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Great.
So this seems like a lot. Am I getting in over my head?
Yes, you are, but you can do it.